Alright, hello everyone, what is going on? I am Braxton, and this is BWC Racing. This is the second trail of the day, when we went out for, I don't know, one of the weekends we went out and practiced. We did Joint Effort, which was a two-part series, a few days ago. I also have some comp footage that I have from this day, so we got a lot done today. Now, you can see me going relatively fast. That's because I'm trying to complete all of Nasty Hat, this entire trail, in under 30 minutes. Under 39 minutes. That's how much I had left on the card. So, and I don't have another card currently. So I was in a hurry to get through it, and I mean, I think for the time space that I did it, I'm pretty happy with myself about how I did on it and how fast I went through it. So, yeah, well, we just went past the second obstacle. The very first obstacle was right outside the tunnel, and I wasn't going to get in the way of the tunnel for the video. But that second obstacle was just a little crack thing. It really isn't anything hard. This is all just a bunch of ups, so it's nothing super difficult currently. This thing right here, it's a twisty thing. Like, that tire climbs, and then the passenger tire will climb, it'll throw the rear end over, and then it'll walk right up it. It's like an off-cambery sort of thing. It's really not that bad. You see the rear sliding over. There's this one. Now working up to the third real obstacle. So right here, I'm looking down at some dots, because last year, during an event called Trail Hero, which I helped run, there was a comp event out here for amateurs. I competed in it, and then after the event was over, I did this entire course right here by myself without a spotter. So, yeah, and this was one of the bonus obstacles, this up right here. Which, it's not super difficult. The only reason I struggled this first time is because I wasn't far enough over to the passenger. So, and it is fairly vertical, as you can tell with the GoPro switch-in formations. Then you can see it there, and it pops right up. So, and you can see how wet the sand is, because this is where I don't want to say all of the water from Sand Mountain comes down, but at least 50% of it down this one trail. So it's all wet and great. This next obstacle is another wall, which super sucks when the ground's wet. Is he just spinning? Really? Like, I mean, just spin, spin, spin. gonna try a few more times, but unfortunately, without the locker and how wet it is, and me running low on card time, I didn't want to run out of space and not have enough footage. So yeah, I'm gonna not end up making it up this obstacle and moving on. Now, on the way to the next obstacle, it's just a lot of little. That's my new word, I guess. A lottle. Interesting. It's just a lot of little ups and like teeters, I guess. I don't know how to put it, but and here's the obstacle. Which, I mean, this is another one of those, keep the tire a little bit higher on the driver's side. Not too high, otherwise it won't go up it. So. Using those cutters to make that locker effect. Because, like last time, still didn't have lockers. So. So I believe these next obstacles are some cracks, I believe. This one is just a little lip up. Well, a little up that's fairly deceiving. Clearly. It's just spinning. The tires are spinning. There it goes. Okay, so we're not quite to the crack yet, but there are 3 different obstacles on this wall. There's this wall, which is fairly difficult. I mean, for the most part, we're just gonna sit here spinning tires on this one. You can see it there, just spinning tires. Backing off now. I believe I might be resetting to try again. No, I'm not. I'm moving on to the next one. Which, the third one, the one furthest in front of me is a rear steer line, so I can't do it on my own. And this one's just up, so. Which I think the trick to this one is, it depends on what your tires are, because if you're right where we are right now, you're in two holes on both sides and it's not going to climb super great. So I'm going to try to get further to the passenger while spinning tires, and it'll work its way up just like so. Up at the top here. And then, I'm not sure what the next obstacle is. I believe it is a crack, if I believe off of memory correctly. Yeah, so this obstacle is a crack that if your tires aren't just right, it'll fall in and it'll plop one tire up in the air, leaning against a wall, and you get back out of it. Which I do think I might have to do that at one point. I'm holding that passenger cutter, trying to get it to go up. We are going to take a reverse to recenter over. Gonna turn a little bit more driver to get that driver rear closer to that wall. This way it'll pull up and over. I see it pulling up there. Now I am turning back passenger so the front doesn't fall in, so the rear doesn't fall in on that side. That would suck much worse than the driver falling in. And then just turn off. And it's really not that difficult of an obstacle, as long as you line up right, so. So this obstacle, when wet, sucks really bad because the front doesn't pull up. And I don't really like being sideways, as I've said before. But the trick to this is getting that driver tire up on that ledge right there, which makes you sit real sideways. But that's how you gotta do the obstacle, so that's how I did it. But you're looking at it now, it's really not all that sideways. It feels real sideways, though. The rear's pulled up. Now this next obstacle is more of a sideways crack. You sit high on one side, and the other side will just follow along the inside of a crack. Look at that. Everything falls in place. And I do think I need to scoot my rear over my way some. The driver's side. Just trying to get that rear driver to climb up on the wall. Look at that. Just spinning that driver rear, getting that thing to pull up there some. Right there, just like that. Checking how much time I have left on the card. Alright, so this is the last obstacle on Nasty Half. It is... It's a big crack that is all about balance. And I'm not too sure how I do with this one. I know the line pretty well. I mean, I walk up it pretty much every time, not too horribly. So, although I do know that I need to be further to the passenger side, because I went too far to the driver. So, I'm not sure if I'll take a backup, or if it just falls into place like that, yeah. So, I mean, the only huge part about this obstacle is not letting the passenger side fall off of the wall that it's on. Otherwise, it just doesn't, it falls in and you roll over, pretty much. It's not like a rollover, but you fall in against the one wall, and it super sucks to get out of I have experience with that, with a buddy who fell in his Jeep thing. And we just the only thing you can do is just keep driving and hope it doesn't go any further over backwards. It didn't go over further backwards. He made it up, but it was not nice. It was not very clean. So, it was something. That's for sure. But out of that crack, there's another one, which I will have to completely reset on, because I was way too far to the driver's side. And everything fell in. So, actually the rear fell in, not... The front didn't fall in, but the rear fell in, which isn't great. So, you know. Yeah. And this one is, like, actually a perfect crack. The only thing that makes it super hard is the entrance. So you have this rock that my driver's side's on, and then my passenger side. You're driving up on one side, getting all sideways, and the front levels out, and you gotta make sure your rear's far enough over so it levels out. So it's exciting, to say the least. It can suck, but most of the time it's a good time. Backing up here, so I don't break anything, because I believe I was in a bind when I got to a certain point on the front. So, now I'm turning way passenger, and barely having that front driver on that lip right there, just so that the passenger rear walks over, so it all folds in perfectly together. This trail is a lot of fun. It's definitely a good trail for beginners. If you're ever out in southern Utah and you just bought a buggy, I recommend driving this trail first, because it has walls, it has cracks, it has techie obstacles. So that's what I recommend for this trail. Yeah, so that's the end of Nasty Half, but there are 3 more obstacles left before all the locals consider the trail actually over. And those are called the 3 Monkeys. So we're going to jump forward to that. Alright. Almost to the third monkey. Almost to the first of the 3 monkeys. There we go. And this one is easy. So easy. I mean, really, you just gotta have your tires in the right place and it walks right up it. And we're so skinny, it doesn't even really matter where the rear is. And we're also so short, it doesn't matter where the rear is. Because the front's up at the top already. Yeah, see? I mean, it was that easy. So, I mean, really, it is as simple as that. You just put your tires in the right place and it goes up. Now, the second monkey, this next one, is more difficult. Not quite as difficult as the third. But, yeah. So, it's one of those passenger goes up first, then the drivers are shitting a little bit sideways. But if you're not far enough passenger, if you're not far enough passenger, your passenger side will fall in a hole. And it's like it's a hole. It's not just a hole, it's a hole. So, yeah. Relatively, it's not terrible. I mean, overall, it's not hard as long as you're far enough passenger. I think the hardest part about it was getting my rear to spin at the same time, so. But overall, it's not a hard obstacle either, as long as you don't fall in the hole. Little bit, just gotta level it out some. Using that passenger cutter to get that driver tire to spin, and boom, it's up. Now, that was a lot softer than I normally drive that, honestly. So, third monkey is, it's not super hard, it's just very slippery and tire placement based. So, and the best way to do this one is have your driver tire sit a little bit taller than the passenger side. Because then you can have the inside of the sidewall grip up and pull the passenger side up, and then the driver side will follow. And once you get the fronts up, the rears, you don't even have to worry about them. But a lot of this obstacle is spinning tires waiting for them to warm up, because the obstacle is very cold and wet, so it's very slippery. So. Now I believe at this point I can feel it start to grip up, so I'm just trying to find that very fine point that it pulls up. It's very fine point. Right there. You see it just pull up and just work. And then, you know, you just make sure the front, because it is still a little bit of a crack, but it's nothing major. But I'm going to show you guys an attempt of an optional obstacle at the end, which I don't believe it has a name, but it is way too slippery to do. Because you got to stay way to the driver's side, this way your rear's far enough over and doesn't get in this undercut. So, but I'll let you guys see one attempt at the obstacle, and then I will I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you all for watching.